First, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Good afternoon. Please listen carefully to the following instructions. If there is an emergency and you're asked to evacuate, please follow the instructions of the uniformed officers. They will direct you out of the building if necessary toward the parking lots. Please take note of the red exit banner to the rear of the building. I ask that all conversations inside the meeting be kept to a minimum so as not to disrupt. And please refrain from blocking exits and silence your electronic devices at this time. Thank you.
Okay, one more time. This is a special meeting agenda for the Thursday, July 11th, 2019 Board of Harbor Commission meeting. First order of business is roll. President Lee?
Here.
Commissioner Middleton?
Here.
Commissioner Moreno-Linares?
Here.
Commissioner Perosi?
Here.
Commissioner Renwick? We have secured a quorum.
The board will now recess into closed session to discuss the items posted on the agenda, the written agenda. We will report out any action taken according to law. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're back into open session.
The Harbor Commission met and discussed the items listed on the closed session agenda. There is no reportable action.
Thank you. The reports of the executive director, please.
Good afternoon, Madam President, Harbor Commissioners, members of the public, and distinguished guests. I'd like to begin this afternoon with a letter that was received from the Southern California Pensioners Group, President Greg Mitri, specifically calling out our own Julie Huerta and Stefan John for all the great work that they have done around the ILW's activities recently, including First Blood, Commissioner Arian's Memorial, and the 70th name on the plaque upcoming. And we're going forward with the unveiling of the Harry Bridges statue as well. So we're very proud of the work that our Harbor Department does, not only internally, but when they're helping out in the community as well. And I just wanted to make sure on the record that our two dear friends and colleagues were recognized publicly.
Yay!
I'll begin my traditional report with a special event, Gnarly Town. On Saturday, June 22nd, Kloss presents Gnarly Town. Bikes, boards, and bands transformed the Outer Harbor, our Berth 46, into a family-friendly action sports and music festival venue. There were 12,000 attendees at the adrenaline-charged block party, which features iconic punk rock bands, daredevils, and top athletes in FMX, which is known as freestyle motocross, and BMX, bicycle motocross, as well as street skating. According to the event producers, a great time was had by all. I would like to specifically thank Mike Galvin, our director of the Waterfront Commercial Real Estate Division, his staff, our Port Police, Wharfinger Division, Risk Management, Construction and Maintenance Divisions for helping organize this event and make it a resounding success. Thank you all very much. School boat tours. The Port of Los Angeles welcomed 14,145 students and educators in the fiscal year that just ended on June 30th. The record-breaking number represents a 13.3% increase from the previous fiscal year. Students and educators are a vital part of our port stakeholder groups, as we all know. Their interest in a hands-on learning experience bodes really well for the future of global trade in our region. We are pleased to see with continued growth of our school boat tours and look forward to hosting many more students in the future. Over the last 12 months, the school boat tour program hosted more than 200 elementary, middle, high school, and university groups. Visitors range from local students in the greater Los Angeles area to international guests from Australia, Germany, Mexico, and Tunisia. Created in 1997 in cooperation with the Los Angeles Unified School District, the Port of Los Angeles Boat Tours program is one of several port-sponsored educational initiatives aimed at fostering a better understanding of port cargo operations, international trade, commerce, and the importance of the marine environment and its ecosystems. The tours are provided free of charge by the port. Qualifying schools are eligible for a bus subsidy as well. For more information on this and other port educational programs, please visit our website at www.portoflosangeles.org. June cargo volume. As released to the media and the community yesterday, the Port of Los Angeles moved more than 764,000 20-foot equivalent units in June, making it the busiest June ever in our 112-year history. The month marked the end of our fiscal year 2018 and 19, in which the port moved nearly 9.7 million TEUs, which represents a 5.7% increase compared to the previous fiscal year. Completing the busiest 12-month period in the port's history also makes me very proud of the extraordinary capabilities, and I'm grateful to all of our stakeholders and workers. With the container exchange per vessel at record levels, we will continue to enhance and optimize the port complex in the coming months. Creating a universal truck reservation system, moving chassis off marine terminals, and further refining our port optimizer are the top priorities for me in this fiscal year. June 2019 imports increased 3.5% to nearly 400,000 TEUs compared to last year, but exports continued their decline, mainly due to the ongoing trade debate between the United States and China. Those exports were down 5.5% to 139,000 TEUs. And if I'm not mistaken, that's our 9th consecutive month of declining exports since the trade tariff debate went into place last March. 6 months into the calendar year, our increase in cargo volume is nearly 5.5% compared to 2018, as we just set an all-time record for a calendar year. So the back end of this 6 months of the year is going to be highly dependent on consumer confidence, our economy, and the outcome of these trade negotiations. And for the first time in memory, we're negotiating on a 360-degree basis, not only with China, which is in the news so much, but we have yet to ratify the new NAFTA or USMCA with Canada and Mexico, and we're also in negotiations with the European Union that have been very quiet since last August. So there is much to do on the trade negotiating front, which will impact our port's opportunities in the future. Meetings and conferences, we've done a lot of work here. We had the GE quarterly meetings this week, rolling out new functionality on the Port Optimizer and some really creative efforts to get more folks involved. There'll be some announcements here coming up on some new international ports that have decided to join the GE team. So we'll be ready to announce that hopefully within the next month. Okay. And then lastly, I would like to thank Chief Tom Gazy and the Port of Los Angeles Police Division, along with the Los Angeles Police Department's Harbor Division, for all of the work and staffing that they have done around these larger public hearings, and most recently today. The men and women of both departments have produced stellar work day in and day out for us and give us that great air of security and coordination that we call community policing. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much. Thank you, Chief. And that concludes my remarks for this afternoon.
Thank you, Gene. Any questions for the Executive Director? Hearing none.
Thank you.
I do not believe we have any public comment cards for comments from the public on non-agenda items. No reports from neighborhood council representatives. Reports of the commissioners.
On June 21st, I attended the reception at the Peruvian Naval Ship BAP Union. June 25th, I attended the Clean Air Action Plan second advisory committee meeting at Banning's Landing. June 29th, I attended the Fiesta Corazon Community Night Market and Movies in the Park at the Waterfront Park in Wilmington. And on July 8th, I attended the swearing-in ceremony for Lieutenant Alvarez and Sergeant Juan. Thank you.
See, June 28th, I attended the 11th Annual Cars and Stripes event here at the Port of LA. Great event.
From June 24th to June 25th, I traveled to Oakland, California on behalf of the port.
Last Saturday, I had a conversation on the phone off the record with J.P. Allen, getting his views on everything except what we discussed today. And then I also, on July 9th, I took the Stanford Club of South Bay on a boat tour where I mansplained for about an hour all the cool stuff we were doing, excluding anything we discussed today.
June 21st, I went on board the Peruvian tall ship. June 28th, I attended a city council meeting. July 1st, I went to the port's Cars and Stripes event. July 4th, I went to the Cabrillo Beach fireworks and 4th of July celebration. July 5th, I went to the LW Bloody Thursday picnic. July 8th, I attended the swearing-in ceremony for Lieutenant Alvarez and Sergeant Huang. And July 10th, I had a meeting with Chief Gazy, Angel Neves, and Donald Galatz on Project Street Level. Thank you.
Thank you. There are no board committee reports at this point. We have approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of June 6, 2019, the continuation of the appeal process CDP number 18-25 of June 20th, 2019, and the special meeting of June 20th, 2019.
May I have one motion to approve all of these minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. We have no presentations at this point. We have no level 1 coastal development permits to consider. Okay. Item K, we have reports of the executive director. This is the proposed consent calendar. I'll read items 1 through 3 into the record. Do we have any questions or any interest in pulling them off?
No.
Okay, good. Number 1, Port Police, resolution for an agreement between the City of Los Angeles Harbor Department and ComSite Pacific, Inc., DBA Pegasus Telecommunications Consulting Group for the Port Police Radio Systems Consulting Service. Number 2, we have a resolution appointing Executive Director Eugene D. Soroka to the Governing Board of the Alameda Corridor Transportation Authority. Number 3, we have a resolution appointing Eugene D. Soroka as a member and Tony Giuello as the alternate member to the Governing Board of the Intermodal Container Transfer Facility Joint Powers Authority.
Motion to approve items 1 through 3.
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner Perosi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The consent agenda is approved.
Thank you. On the regular agenda, we have number 4, resolution resetting compensation under permit numbers 712 and 713 with Shore Terminals LLC. Mike Galvin.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mike Galvin, Director of Waterfront and Commercial Real Estate. This is compensation reset for shore terminals. It's a little bit different than normal. Shore terminals permit has expired as of 2014, but this is in line with the 5-year reset. Their permit expired June 25th of 2014. This will be effective at the same time, 2019. So it is in line with the 5-year compensation reset policies that we have within the City of Los Angeles. This covers 2 permits that are both in Wilmington area. They are on Mormon Island. Shore Terminals handles bunker fuels and lube oil. Their facility is just adjacent to Valero's facility. Shore is a fully owned subsidiary of New Star, which is a midstream company that just basically focuses on building pipelines and tank storage. So I'd mentioned the proposed rent is going from approximately $1.26 million per year to about $1.16 million per year. That's just land rent. It's about a 28% increase based on the current land values of $41.60 per square foot, which is $4.16 basically on an annual basis per square foot. They also produce about $487,000 of wharfage and dockage a year, so the overall compensation expected from them going forward is going to be somewhere north of $2 million a year. The per acre expectation is about $150,000 per year is what we'll get out of this short permit. There's a new 30-year permit for modems compliance currently in negotiations. This compensation reset does not include CPI because the original permit did not. We are going to push for that as an amendment to this permit, but we needed to get past this stage because this was the most significant increase that we would see from that. But we will also push with this, as we did mention for the Valero permit that we brought to the board a couple meetings ago for a CPI amendment to these in the interim of us reaching a long-term agreement on the modems agreements. I can answer any questions if there are any.
Any questions for Mr. Galvin? Commissioner Renwick.
No, I just want to emphasize, Mr. Galvin and I have spoken a lot about this, the importance of the CPI increase is absolutely vital. We were so far behind in both this and the one we approved last time. That's why you're seeing these gigantic rate increases. So the whole purpose of putting in a CPI increase is so those increases won't be as much, and it takes away the incentive for the customer to delay resolving these issues. But with modems, it's especially complicated to get it done, so I support this. Good job.
Thank you. If there are no further questions, may I please have a motion to approve staff's recommendation?
I move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Number 5, environmental management, resolution for adoption of a final initial study negative declaration and approval of berths 206-209 chassis depot and repair facility, Los Angeles Harbor Department application for port permit numbers 180515-080 and 180628-112, State Clearinghouse number 2019049-132.
Thank you. Chris Cannon, Environmental Management Division. Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is a final negative declaration for chassis depot and repair facilities at berths 206 and 209. So this is just a regional overview, and you kind of see where berth 206, 209 is. And this is close up. It's actually two buildings, and they exist already. So these will just be modifications and upgrades to these buildings. They will be used for chassis storage and maintenance activities. The two tenants are the PMG and PCMC, Pacific Port Maintenance Group and Pacific Crane Maintenance Company. As I said, they'll make minor modifications and improvements of the site. There were no significant impacts identified, and therefore no mitigation measures were required. A draft negative declaration was circulated, and 3 comment letters were received from Bureau of Sand, Department of Caltrans, and South Coast Air Quality Management District. There were no comments received that presented new or significant information or altered any previously identified findings. There was one minor clarifying modification made to the final negative declaration to identify a particular South Coast Air Quality Management District regulation or rule. So we now present this to you for consideration and approval for a final negative declaration.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Cannon? Yes, Commissioner Middleton.
Mr. Cannon, just because you use the two different words, what's the difference between a chassis depot and chassis storage?
One of them is for maintenance and repair, and the other one is just to store chassis that could be used for future operations.
They're both basically storage facilities?
Yes, it's just a matter of whether you do some work on them or whether you just store them there.
Okay. And what's a negative declaration, please?
So a negative declaration is a determination by a lead agency that there are no significant environmental impacts, so you are declaring that there are no significant impacts, so that's why it's called a negative declaration.
Thank you.
If there are no further questions, Commissioner Prosy? Okay. May I please have a motion to approve?
I move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries. Thank you.
That concludes our agenda.
Thank you. I am pleased to adjourn this meeting at 2:37 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
If you ever want to